These are the gods my husband's parents used to worship. And now, since we're married, we worship them. I come here and I pray for my children. This is a herder's god, because when we move from one place to another, this god is hung from the camel.
For thousands of years, the people of Mongolia have lived a nomadic life, living and working on the land and always moving. Once one of the largest and most powerful empires on the face of the planet, Mongolia has an ancient and incredible history. Today there are just 3.4 million people living in this vast land, making it one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world. And for the past 30 years, the Catholic Church here has been growing slowly, but not without its problems. Half of the population of Mongolia, 1.5 million, live in the capital, Ulaanbaatar. And this is where the Augustina family lives. Jalsaw and Sirnarov are both professors at a university, and with their son and daughter, they're showing us some warm Mongolian hospitality. It's traditional?
Traditional food.
They are Catholics, part of the tiny percentage in the country.
I wanted to get closer to God. And the Catholic Church has its own theology and rich history. So it wasn't a random choice that I got baptized as a Roman Catholic.
Was it difficult for you to become a Catholic and embrace the faith when it's not in your culture or your traditions?
A person seeks truth. And what is the truth? My husband, my husband's friends, the priests in the church, they all explain the meaning of truth. So that's why it's easy for us to believe.
When you decided to become Catholics, what was the reaction from your friends and family?
Well, they generally don't say it to our faces, but sometimes we do feel cast out. They say things like, you know he believes in Jesus. He got brainwashed. They say these things. But it's the belief in Jesus that matters. That's what's important.
The main religion in Mongolia is Buddhism, around 52%. Others practice shamanism, a system of connecting with spirits and healing. Here it's part of the country's identity and culture. Catholics make up less than 1% of the population, and most Mongolians are suspicious towards the Catholic Church and what is seen as a foreign religion. St. Peter's and Paul's Church is the only cathedral in the country. And there, Father Sanjeev is one of the country's only 2 Mongolian-born priests. The other 40 priests are foreign missionaries. How would you describe the Catholic Church in Mongolia?
The modern Catholic Church in Mongolia has a history of 31 years. But if you think about it, God has always been present in nomadic culture. If you think about Abraham, the ancestor of our religion, he was nomadic as well. The nomadic people believe in loving each other, in forgiving each other. That's in our faith too. That's why I believe God is in the nomadic culture.
After the Soviet Union collapsed in the early 90s, Mongolia was free, and religion, completely banned under communism, was now allowed to establish itself in the country.
It means in English, the family that prays together stays together. It all started with 3 pioneers from our congregation.
This is Father Ronald Doloso Magbanua, the congregation leader for the CICM missionaries here in Mongolia. The same congregation that came here in 1992.
They started from scratch, zero. There was nothing here. They have this come and see method. And if you like, you stay. And if you don't like, it's okay. And many who came were attracted, actually.
Outside, Father Ronald shows me some construction work being carried out by the church.
Our church community is getting bigger and bigger.
So you need more space.
We need more space.
And you applied for the permit, but they said
It was denied.
denied.
Yeah.
Their permit was denied. What Father Ronald alluded to is a problem that the church here faces in Mongolia, but few are willing to address directly on camera, and that is the indirect restrictions put on the Catholic Church by the Mongolian government. I know here they say there is freedom of religion or freedom of expression, but in practice and in reality, is it completely free, or do you find there are sometimes restrictions from the government?
Since most of the religious Mongolian people are foreigners, there are problems with visas and with permits for the church. Every year we have to apply for a permit and we have to give a report to the authorities about our work. But we are trying to work through it step by step. There is also this perception that people connected with the Catholic Church are foreigners with money who are rich. This too can cause problems.
Even with these problems, the Catholic Church tries to forge ahead in what it sees as its mission. And in a country where 27% of the population live in poverty, and with such limited resources and strict operating confinements, the work can be an uphill battle. In the middle of the capital, the CICM missionaries operate the Verbist orphanage. It holds about 50 children, the majority of whom are girls. In Mongolia, there are far more girls than boys. The children live here full-time and also attend school. The centre gets no funding from the government, but is completely funded by the religious order. Brother Ricardus Gabot and Brother Wilbados Koban are missionaries from the Philippines and Indonesia who run the orphanage.
This place was founded in 1995, just 3 years after the 3 missionaries came to Mongolia.
And what are the children like when they come here?
Mostly the kids are, they don't have parents.
You see, they are helpless. I mean, you can see that, oh, these kids are really need help. The first and most important thing here for us is, since they are still kids, we provide them their basic needs: education, health, and food.
Tull is one of the favourite workers. She's been here for 10 years and sees the children as her own.
They call me Mama. I love these children. I love when they come back after leaving.
The youngest in the orphanage is just 2. One of the oldest is 19. Her name is Hinsteg.
I came to here 2 years old, and I'm living here in 60 years. And I'm very happy I'm living here.
Like any other kids, the children here have dreams and ambitions for the future. But of course, it will be difficult for them when the day comes that they do have to leave.
It is difficult, yeah.
I just expect that they have a good future, since I believe that everybody deserves for the better future.
Here also we are trying to be father and mother in the same time. That's the, yeah.
To understand Mongolia properly, you have to move outside of Ulaanbaatar. Today we're making the 7-hour journey to the town of Aravakir, the nearest town to the capital. And along the way, the stunning empty landscape gives you some sort of idea of just how vast this country is. Chris is a Mongolian Catholic and has been our local production coordinator for the trip.
Right now we are heading to the province of Urhanga. It's around 430 kilometers, but the roads are not like the Western countries. The roads are not so nice.
And along the journey, he makes an interesting point about the establishment of a number of cults when Mongolia opened up in the early 90s.
Some of the people who joined those cults committed a suicide. So it was a shocking news. Even up to now, we still remember those moments. And so when they hear the word Jesus, they just think of those bad cults. Up until now, the society doesn't really distinguish the Catholics and the cults.
They see them as the same for some people.
I would say most of the people, they can't really distinguish between those.
For those who don't live in the capital or the other cities, this is the nomadic way of life. This family are all herders. It's been a tradition in their family for generations, and they wouldn't have it any other way.
It seems to me that the people in the city have nothing to do. I imagine it must be boring. For us herders, we grew up with this, and we're happy as long as we're with the animals.
What is it like being herders? What's the work like?
We both come from herder families, and being a herder means there's always a lot of work to do.
Even though to us they appear to have so little, they are proud to present to me the freshest horse milk from their herd, and curd, a product made from hardened fermented milk. It's fascinating learning about their way of living, but when I asked them about the Catholic Church...
Have you ever heard of the Catholic Church or Pope Francis?
No, I haven't been to any of the foreign churches. Sometimes when I go to the city, I go to the Buddhist cathedral.
The foreign church. Again, how many Mongolians view the Catholic Church. Something that is alien, different, suspicious. Nearby is the town of Arvakir, a town with a population of about 30,000 people, where one of the major problems, like in the capital, is air pollution. As temperatures can drop to minus 40 degrees, coal is burned constantly to provide heat and electricity. The region has one Catholic church called Mother of Mercy, where Mass is celebrated in the traditional gear. In the parish, there are also a number of missionary nuns, like Sister Theodora Bellini from Tanzania, who doesn't see the locals as suspicious, but rather intrigued.
They are curious, and this curiosity makes them to come close to us, to know us more, and that is the goal of our mission. We wish to know them, and they wish to know us.
And you're always smiling.
Yeah, because I never dreamed that I would be in this place. It is like a gift for me from God, like a blessing also to be in such a place beautiful like this.
Father Dido Mukadi is from Kenya. He's the parish priest and arrived here 7 years ago.
Mongolia, the church is so small, the Catholic Church. Tell me about your parish here.
Yeah, as you have said it, our church is small. Also here our parish is very small. And then we have about 55 baptized people. But
in this area?
In the parish here.
And how would you describe the faith here?
The faith here is amazing. Mongolians believed in God even before we arrived here. God preceded us before we came here. Because they talk about Tingere Borkhan, which is God of heaven, of the blue sky, call it, which for us we know it is the God of our father, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. And we, through Christ, we become children of God. It is only one God. We have less than 1% of the Catholic Church in Mongolia, but the little people who are here, when they commit themselves, they do it fully. That is the most beautiful part. The culture is beautiful, beautiful culture, but it takes time for people to understand what is the Catholic Church or what is Christianism. It is not that something that comes just quickly.
Back in the capital Ulaanbaatar, and the local people are enjoying the warm summer weather before the harsh winter sets in. And for our last stop on our journey looking at the Catholic Church in Mongolia, we pay a visit to the Sisters of Charity, who care for the elderly and women who are sick.
She is cooking us very tasty cake.
What kind of cake?
Chocolate.
Chocolate cake? Sister, where's our chocolate cake?
Some of these women have dementia, and their families are unable or unwilling to care for them. Others suffer from alcoholism and have come from the streets, and some are victims of domestic violence. This lady was beaten so badly it left her permanently disabled. The options of places that they can go are very limited, but here the sisters have created a home for them.
So I asked her, how do you feel here? Do you have any problem? She said, I am very happy to be here at this moment. I have no problem.
The youngest woman in the centre is only 25 years of age.
You always smile, give a smile to everyone.
She's always smiling.
Yes,
she's
always
happy.
Smiling, yes. Bayarma, mindrere.
She gave a wave to the camera.
We are here to care for these people, but when they come to us, for sure in this situation is a sad story, but we are very happy to care for them, to bring them hope, to help them as much as we can.
Just some of the work being done by the small Catholic Church here in Mongolia. But with the visit of Pope Francis, this will be the first time in history a Pope has come to Mongolia, a historic event that is hoped will give a new lease of life to the faithful here.
We hope that his presence here in Mongolia will bring something can flourish.
And I'm sure it will inspire many people, later on, not only to join our faith, but also to be interested of what Catholicism is all about.
Of course, the Pope is a world leader, so it will be great for Mongolia. But really, I hope for the Catholic Church in Mongolia that it will grow. And it's a blessing to us. This is a blessing from God.
Well, it's been just over 30 years since those 3 missionaries arrived here in Mongolia to rebuild the church from scratch. And as you've heard, it hasn't always been easy. But it's hoped that this upcoming visit of Pope Francis will help encourage the missionaries in the work they do here, generate more interest in the Catholic faith in the country, and try and challenge some of the wider perceptions of the Catholic Church here. In Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, Colm Flynn, EWTN News, In Depth.